so much for coming along for the launch of a book that I think it depicts Yangon's beautiful colonial architecture in a way that's never been done or seen before. My name is Gaffney. I'm an ABC radio presenter, and it's very exciting to be here as the MC for the launch of Yangon, A City to Rescue. I've got a personal connection with this book and its co-authors Jacques, Maudy and Jimi Casaccia. We've got some very special guests here tonight. We've got a group of Myanmarese architects, planners and academics who are here studying building conservation and adaptive reuse. And the Minister, of course, for Foreign Affairs, Bob Carr, is a very special guest here tonight. He's helped make this exchange of professional development happen between Australia and Myanmar. So thank you so much. We're going to hear from Mr. Carr in just a moment. Back to the book. Last year, this book happened as a result of Jacques Maudy sourcing a really interesting project, the Yangon Heritage Trust, working very hard to try and conserve the beautiful colonial architecture of their city. He got me involved after I interviewed him about his work in Cuba. I'm a journalist, so it was a pretty amazing opportunity for me to be over there recording some of my own stories and meeting the very beautiful people of Myanmar who greeted us so warmly and showed us a very special time there. But I'd like you now to put your hands together and welcome the Foreign Affairs Minister, Bob Carr, so he can tell us about his own love of colonial architecture.
Thank you for the welcome, Jacques and Jimi. Distinguished guests from Myanmar, this is an opportunity for me to say how fond Australia is of Myanmar, how we want to be firm friends of your country, count Australia as a friend. We acknowledge the difficulties your country faces. We acknowledge all the degradation of dictatorship over the decades of the past. We will be with you in the transition. And Jacques and Jimi have highlighted something that seized my imagination, which is the wealth of historic buildings. If preserved, and I'm confident it will be preserved, will give the city character. It will give the city an attraction. It will give the city honour and respect. And it will give the world, the whole world, an example of cultural diversity. In this core of historic buildings, we can find madrasas, mosques, Christian churches, Hindu and Buddhist temples, and an old synagogue where Jews from Iraq worshipped in the spirit of their faith. Not only are these buildings redolent of the history, the colonial history of Myanmar, a phase in its history, not only are they full of character and interest, of architectural intrigue captured in these photos, but they convey to the world this wonderful and strange notion that cultures can live together, faiths can live together. So welcome to our friends from Myanmar. Congratulations to the Yangon Heritage Trust, whose work I respect so greatly. Congratulations for Jacques and Jimi. I've got promises to keep and a flight to catch to Sydney. You'll forgive me if I leave, but good luck not only in Brisbane but in Sydney. I look forward to your report, your observations, and you guys know that I'm an ally of your work and a great supporter, and I congratulate you on this wonderful photographic record.
Thank you very much.
Jacques, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob Carr. It is true that the Australian government, through Bronte Mools, the Australian ambassador in Myanmar, has been a very strong supporter of what we've done there since June 2012. I want to welcome you also, guys, the Myanmar delegation. This event wouldn't be the same without you. So it's been a total chance that your coming to Australia has coincided with the launch of this book and the launch of this exhibition. Originally we went to Burma because I saw on YouTube an interview of a gentleman called Sonny Tain, who was one of the members of the board of the Yangon Heritage Trust. And I was looking for an angle to go to Myanmar and to witness the changes there. I was extremely interested in what was happening there. So I contacted him and I offered to volunteer. and to go and photograph the buildings, the historical buildings, and give the photos to the Yangon Heritage Trust for their own use. He told us to come immediately because they were planning a major international conference where they wanted to convince the ministers to enact legislation to protect these buildings. It was very, very early times at that moment in May 2012. I think the Yangon Heritage Trust has just been founded by Tant Minh Thu, who's an historian and a very influential man, actually, that Tant Minh Thu wrote to us to allow us to help us enter those official buildings, because at the time, pulling out a camera in Yangon would create an immediate paranoia among security people. But in the end, that letter, we couldn't even use it, because every time we would produce this letter, we would be there for half an hour of discussion. They would want to make a photocopy. Of course, the photocopy machine didn't have ink, so they wanted to copy it by hand. And I said to Jimmy, we can't work like that. We're not going to finish the work if we negotiate on every building. So let's have another strategy. You work this way with your camera, they run after you, and I take the photos. And that's what we did. So we didn't use much the letter of Tant Minh Thu. We still have it, but it's written in Burmese. We didn't even know what he wrote, right? Like, because I don't read Burmese. But I thought it was efficient because we tried it in one school, and the principal was very happy to read it. So I think that he was saying good things. Well, in the end, we showed these photos at the Yangon Heritage Conference, first international conference, and that conference was an absolute success. I mean, the Yangon Heritage Trust has had gathered conservationist experts from all around the world, from Calcutta, from London, from everywhere, who came to explain to Yu Sotan, the minister, the finance minister, who was the minister of industry at the time, I think, how important it was to preserve the historical heritage of Yangon, whatever the origin. Who cares if they are British or Hindu buildings or Chinese temples or even the Shwedagon Pagoda. This is the culture of Yangon. Every capital is an international melting pot, and Yangon is an international capital, and it's going to become a center capital in the world. I believe that Yangon is a great future ahead of it. The Yangon Heritage Trust is having an extreme influence and a very positive influence in the protection of these buildings that you are seeing in these walls. I think that without them, a lot of them would have already disappeared. So we got to thank Maudy here, who's the director of the Yangon Heritage Trust. We've got to thank Tant Minh Thu, who was the initiator of this adventure of the Yangon Heritage Trust and gathered this international conference. And we've got to thank you all, because you are the future technicians, professionals who are going to do the job on the ground. So thanks to you guys. I want the audience to give a clap to these people here. I'm not going to hold you much longer. Maybe Jimmy wants to say a few words. He's been shadowing me in this story from the beginning, and very bravely jumping over the cars through the busy streets of Yangon to get the pictures done and stopping the traffic. So thank you, Jimmy. You can take the microphone now.
Thank you very much. I would like to say a big thank you to everyone that is coming tonight. Thank you so much. And also thank you to the Powerhouse that hosts us and all the technicians that help us to do this. What is important for me, that everyone that is reading the book or just reading news about these things, what we need to understand that this is not only about it's not only about preservation of buildings. It's a big thing. It's about preservation of heritage of the people of Myanmar. It's about preservation of the legacy of the people of Myanmar. So my biggest thank you go to all single people of Yangon and of course all Myanmar, because everyone has been so nice, everyone has been so welcoming, and everyone has been so lovely and helpful. So I mean, buildings are amazing, and it's the main focus target, whatever, but building belongs to the city. A city without people is nothing, you know, so it's just a big thank you from my heart.
you.